So here we are again on the L322 2007 3.6 tdv8. We only actually went in to do a CV boot a wee while back, and then found out that the joint was pretty much kaput and the ABS sensor had to be off. As you can see, it looks absolutely delightful and rusty in there. Again, nothing being easy. The joint itself wasn't for coming off. We tried kind of stabilising it with the mole grips here and giving it a good old whack, try and get it off, but to no avail, unfortunately. Didn't matter how hard we were hitting this thing, it wasn't for coming. So we ended up having to take the drive shafts out. There we are, looking just to see exactly how we get them out. Turned out it wasn't just a case of popping them straight out as we thought. As you can see, our tie rod ends and things are still in there, and our subframe is all connected up. Wasn't for budging. We were just trying to split the seal here, and as you can see, we ended up having to take quite a bit more off just to get that out. But once you get it on the vise, that's when it's going to make life a heck of a lot easier. You can knock that old joint off, no bother. Make sure that you clean it good. Obviously you've got your kind of circlip that goes in, the crush circlip that was holding it on in the first place. Make sure that's in, get your CV boot nice and on there to the correct position. As I say guys, getting it on the vise made life a hell of a lot easier for us. Just takes the kind of banging and crashing and everything out of it. Well, I say everything out of it, we're on the vise and we still had to give it a good whack. But yeah, we could, with this, while Sam was doing this, what I was doing was I was actually going to clean all the grooves inside the hub itself. A lot of them had been caked in rust and grime and crap from where the boots had been kind of letting all the water and crap in. So I cleaned all that off just to allow us a wee bit easier kind of sliding it in. And just to be a little bit more fun on the passenger side, we had to heat a couple of the bolts here. Again, just with all the salt, water, grime getting into it, it is just going to be that a little bit more difficult. Thankfully, it was only 2 bolts, I think, that we actually ended up doing on this side. I had to be careful not to set everything else on fire, obviously, because we didn't want any cables and that getting done. Once we kind of heated it up and got the Jesus bar on it to try and break it off, it was good. It was good, you know. Again, we had a bit of bother here with the heat. It kind of expanded the bolt a little bit, so we just worked away, working back and forth, and that's what sometimes you have to do with these bolts here, is work them back and forth. Again, a couple of solid ones. Thankfully didn't need to get any heat on these ones, but just to free them off, there we go, just pops out of place. Now when you're doing this, be careful not to damage your brake disc covers when working. Mines were fairly rotten anyway. I think we ended up taking them off, and they're not as much needed on the front as what they are on the back. Yeah, all in all, good job. Pleased it happened. I've got rid of the 3 Amigos. I've still got a brake pad sensor on the rear that I need to sort, but car's driving fantastic again. It's full waft mode. I've got 100%. I've got the suspension back working, because obviously when your ABS is not working, the rest goes down. As you can see, these were well past their best. One, which was the passenger side, suffering worse than the other. But yeah, back to being the Range Rover that it should be. Another good job, but as you can see, sometimes not as simple as just changing a CV boot. You have to go a little bit more in depth. Thanks guys.